Hi friends, welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you the biggest investment mistake I've ever made and exactly how I turned it around to make it an advantage for myself when going about investing. But before I continue with the rest of the video, as you would know by now, everything shared in all my videos shouldn't be considered as financial or investment advice. Please do your own due diligence. So my investing journey started 6 to 7 years ago, where I was in the army, and I felt that I wanted to actually grow myself as a person and take the 2 years to, not just serve the country, but to make better use of my time so that it could make a strong foundation for the future years to actually build on. And I knew that the way to get ahead in today's digital age is to have insights and information that we can execute on and that we can compound our efforts with through actions over the years. And the skill that I really wanted to get better at was investing. Quite a lot of people in my family are from finance backgrounds, and finance topics were often discussed over meals, dinners, catch-ups, family gatherings. So my interest for financial topics and personal finance was always piqued. But I just didn't know how, because nobody actually took the time over Christmas dinner or Chinese New Year to say what their exact approach to investing in stocks or funds or any other equities was like. So I had to go about learning how to do investing on my own. And back in the days, even today, there are so many people selling value investing courses, option trading courses, and all kinds of courses out there by the thousands of dollars for us. It starts off with a free webinar, a free course, or whatever, and later on, there's an upsell if you want to actually find out exactly how you can go about, investing and getting similar returns. But do you realize a lot of times these people don't even have the courage to show their own performance and their own fund returns? So I really didn't like the idea of like being sold a few $1,000s, because 6 7 years ago that was almost all I had to invest. That it didn't make sense for me to take the capital I wanted to invest to throw in a course and now later on have no money to invest. So instead of doing that, I went to popular bookstores on weekends and Borders to essentially look out for investing books with the red sticker. And if you go to Borders and MPH, you know that the red sticker indicates that they are on sale. So I spent time getting those books or standing down there just to read the books and to have a better understanding on investing. I didn't want to pay those gurus thousands of dollars. And then a lot of times, if you research those gurus, there are always mixed reviews and more bad ones than good ones. And for all I know, the good ones could have been their own people, creating fake reviews. So I spent hundreds of hours reading through different books, and also spending a lot of hours on YouTube watching tutorials, for the free ones, free tutorials by people who have the courage to show their results. And along the way, mix and match, strategies and tactics that could better suit myself as a millennial in today's digital age. So, despite trying to spend so many hours trying to figure out investing, reading books, watching videos, and thinking that I actually got it after getting so much information into my head, the next step was essentially to put all these strategies and insights into practice. But this was very intimidating to me because, like, unlike people with hundreds of thousands or 200s or millions of dollars, I didn't have that money to invest. So to me, I realized that I had to be very, 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 very careful with how I went about it. So I broke down a few $1,000s I had into a few different brokerage accounts, and from there applied different strategies across each of them. So for example, one portfolio could be purely value principles based on Warren Buffett, another one could be growth principles based on another book, and the last one would be a mixture of those two. So with these three different portfolios, I was able to fine-tune the exact strategy that works best for me. A lot of people sell that strategy as the only way or the best way to go about investing. Ultimately, truth be told, I think there's no best way to go about investing. It really depends on your own circumstances, the ability of SIT, skills, information, and time. How much skills do you know? How much time do you have to set aside? And how often are you able to go out there to actually put information into your head so that you can have this informational leverage? So after applying all these three strategies, I realized one thing: the way to get ahead in investing, especially for me, is to really have this thing called informational leverage. And oftentimes during wars, people with the best spies or the best like espionage skills are the countries that win because they get extra information or juicy information, from the other side, and they are able to, move fast, move quick, and put up their defenses. If they knew that a certain army was going to bomb someone's harbor, they were able to put preventive measures in place to prevent that from happening. So the same thing for investing. If I had some insights or some information on specific things, if I knew the news before the rest of Wall Street or most investors out there, I had the head start that allowed me to move faster or quicker. So actually, when realizing this, I was always on my phone, researching news, looking for stocks, being updated, turning notifications on, subscribing to, not even joking, hundreds of newsletters, and I felt very, very stressed out. Every day there was so much information that was hitting me. Even today, many people aren't even so initiated to go about acquiring information, but the news does a good enough job to overwhelm them and confuse them with financial insights and financial news and opinions. So what's the biggest mistake I've ever made? The biggest mistake I've ever made, I've actually shared just now. It was overwhelming myself with a crazy amount of information every single day, and to allow myself and my portfolio strategies to be influenced by all the noise out there. An example of such a news that can create FOMO in today's age is Tesla, for example, opening a factory in China. A lot of people are saying, oh, with Tesla opening the factory in China like no American car manufacturer has ever done before, that allows these car manufacturers to expand their fleet and their revenue earnings because now they're able to access the Chinese markets. So based on that information, there's so much hype built around it, I'm going to buy some Tesla shares. There's a lot of investors today, they move based on emotions, and emotions are often derived based on the information that we allow into our heads. But as we all know, information never sleeps. And because there's so much information all around the world, with stock markets opening while we are asleep, stock markets closing while we are awake, and just so many news outlets churning information out there every single day, there's almost no way that we can always be updated with information, and it becomes the shiny object syndrome. There's shiny objects here, shiny objects here, shiny objects here, shiny objects here. There's shiny objects everywhere, and because of that, we try to grab all these shiny objects as if they're gold and shiny stars and put it into our bags. But this is a very dangerous approach that leads to fatigue or burnout, which I actually experienced 2 years ago. So how did I turn this obsession to be updated, or this fear of missing out on news and financial topics, into a personal advantage? If you feel that my story or message resonates with you in some way, can I please invite you to drop a like on this video so that this video goes out to more people who need to hear this. There are a lot of people out there that are feeling lost, they have no idea what to do with their finances, and I'm willing to share all of this free without you having spent thousands of dollars buying someone's course, someone who hasn't got the courage to show their actual results and their performance. So with the like button destroyed, I'll now share with you how did I turn FOMO into an advantage for my financial portfolio. As we all know, there's countless news sources out there, and there's no shortage of financial opinions. How then do we curate information necessary for our own portfolio growth? I think the way to go about it is not so much to hunt for 10x stocks, 2x stocks, 3x stocks, or 100x stocks, because that's essentially hunting. That's essentially hunting for shiny stars, looking at the skies and seeing so many shining stars and trying to get each one. That approach is just going to leave you very, very tired. The way I would personally go about it and how I've done it is to essentially ask myself, what are the big trends out there? Some of my friends would know that I'm a macro trend investor. What does that mean? That means that I look for big trends out in the markets. Example of big trends could be focus subjects discussed in the World Economic Forum, where leaders around the world gather to solve global problems, or UN goals set by a majority of countries in agreement to solve specific international issues. But that's just level 1. Level 2 is to actually monitor each of these countries and to see whether the leaders are actually following through with their objectives and the things that they have said they would be achieving. Another way to go about it is to actually monitor their national budgets. Where are their budget dollars going? If their budget dollars are going to fixing the things that they have assured the UN that they will be fixing, then okay, money is going to be set aside, companies are going to solve the problems, governments are going to pay the companies money to solve the problems for them. So what companies are best situated to take these budgets and utilize them for maximum growth? So that's step 1. Step 2, once I've identified what the macro trends are, I create social media and Google accounts to follow specific topics or opinion leaders in that space. So one example is I have an email address that I use just to subscribe to financial newsletters covering the sustainability space. A lot of countries now are going green. The governments are focused on ensuring that they can reduce their carbon footprint while maximizing economic growth. But not many publishers cover the news like that. The general news like CNN, CNBC don't dive deep into this. So it's necessary for us to find out specific publishers that cover these news topics, where they talk about their opinions on these industries and companies that are in a good position to serve them. So I have specific social media accounts and Gmail accounts to follow some of these opinion leaders, whether it's their YouTube channel or their own personal newsletter. I set aside specific days each week to monitor the insights on each of these different accounts. Each account monitors a specific trend, and within each of these accounts are multiple news sources. So from there, I set aside another day of the week to consolidate my thoughts to identify, okay, which companies in this space has been mentioned multiple times. Is the reasoning sound? If so, okay, I'll take note of these companies, and then later on, I'll go onto Google and search their financial statements and do a comparison analysis of their financial ratios. Finally, I'll go about choosing these companies and then doing my own technical analysis on platforms like Think or Swim by TD Ameritrade. This allows me to find a good entry price, and when I can enter at a good price, I increase the likelihood of me making some profits when it reaches the intrinsic value or the value I think fair to sell. So what is my point? My point is you can actually turn what you think is a flaw to a form of leverage. I was able to turn this messy FOMO into informational leverage to creating a system that allowed me to systemize the way I consume information, make use of information, and execute on information. So if you think this is helpful so far, please make sure you drop a like down below so that this video goes out to help more people who are in need of hearing such non-fluff, no BS information out here on YouTube. If you like today's video, welcome to my channel. In my channel, I'll be sharing with you principle-based investing strategies that I personally used. Principles that have helped me make nearly 90% in the past year and over 150% in alternative investments in just the last 30 days. And the best way to go about it is hit subscribe and turn on your notifications, and I'll catch you on the next one.